Hey everybody, it's Tox from CritsHappen.com. Thanks for watching and welcome back. Well, the Critical Wall is taking some more shape and I'm really excited about this. We got some more love and some really cool things from our friends at the Albino Dragon. We've got a couple of Cthulhu pieces you'll see from Shane Tyree, their artist. We've got one that's like the Cthulhu Demon, and we've got the King of Hearts in full living color from the Cthulhu playing cards from their Bicycle Kickstarter. And then we also have artwork from Gene Grafter, which was a recent game from Albino Dragon that we reviewed as well, also a successful Kickstarter of theirs. And you'll notice we're really kind of leaving a lot of space open over here. There's a good reason for that. We've got something really cool coming in for right here, and I'm really looking forward to highlighting that and putting it up here. We also have a couple of people who are over in Europe who are sending us some things, which I'm really excited about. I'm sure they're going to take a little bit to get here just because of the amount of snail mail and how it flows. But have had some great ideas, some really cool emails and connections, so thank you very much. Obviously right now, the wall is a little heavily themed towards Albino Dragon, which I'm sure they don't have a problem with, but would love to still hear from everybody else. Some people have given us ideas, which is great, but obviously we're limited in terms of what we have access to, how artistic some of us may or may not be, and just what we can and can't do. So, like I said before, this is your guys' wall. Whatever we get, we're going to put up here, and we're going to make it just a menagerie of what you guys give us and put up there. So it's definitely coming together really well. Definitely want to thank everyone that's been involved so far, and definitely look forward to getting more stuff. But why are we here? Well, first off, we're here hopefully sounding a little better. We did a little bit of work in the room to try and soften the room and not have as much echo, so we'll see how that comes out. It's always a continuing process to get a little bit better, so I hope it's slightly better. I know it's never going to be perfect, but we're getting there. But more importantly, we're here today because of the DC deck building game. So we recently did a critical review of the DC deck building game from Cryptozoic. It's a 2 to 5 player game, plays in about 30 minutes. And it's been received with mixed opinions and mixed emotions. Some people have felt that I was too soft on it. Some people felt that I was too hard on it. So I figured the best way to kind of bring some more things to light around what we discussed in that critical review was to do a critical playthrough for the DC deck building game. Now, we haven't done a playthrough yet of a deck building game, so this is going to make some assumptions that you at least understand the basics of it. But on the outside chance that you don't, really quickly, you're going to start with a very basic deck. You're going to build up that deck to become more powerful with the goal of defeating the big bad supervillains. Today I'm going to get some help from a very good friend of mine, someone I've known for a very long time, and someone you guys have never met nor seen on camera and probably won't see past her hands playing this game. But Mrs. Tox, my wife, is actually going to join us and play this with me. She really does enjoy this game. She likes it a lot. She tends to like the Lord of the Rings game a little better, which again is my opinion as well. There is a similar game for Lord of the Rings license built on the Cerberus engine, and we did a critical review of that. That got a crit, this got a hit. So why don't you guys come along with me? Let's delve into Arkham Asylum. Let's try and defeat all the supervillains we can. Let's don the cape, put on the mask, and jump into the Batmobile and play the DC deck building game. Okay, so what you see in front of you is the initial setup for the DC deck building game. There is a stack of weakness cards, which at the end of the game will give you -1 victory points. There's a stack of kicks, which are superpowers, which each provide 2 power. They cost 3 power to buy, and will give you 1 point at the end of the game. And then there is a stack of supervillains. And when we defeat the last supervillain, that is when the game is over. The game will always start with Ra's al Ghul on top. He has 8 power to defeat him. And then from there, everything under him is randomized. So you'll see everyone is face down. This is the generic initial setup, which tells you to use 8 total supervillains, so 7 randomized plus Ra's al Ghul. But one of the nice things is that you can customize it as much as you want. If you want to only make it 3 villains, you can make it 3 villains. If you want to make it all of them, you can make it all of them. Then we've shuffled up the center deck, and we've already flipped out the first 5 cards of the lineup. And we have Suicide Squad, which is a villain, the Batcave, which is a location, High Tech Hero, which is a Cyborg Hero card. We have Fortress of Solitude, which is also a location, and Super Speed, which for me is phenomenal because I'm going to be playing as the Flash. And the Flash has the ability that says, you go first, because of course he is the fastest man alive. And it says, the first time a card tells you to draw 1 or more cards during each of your turns, you get to draw an additional card. And Mrs. Tox is going to play Wonder Woman. And what does her what does her power say?
For each villain you buy or gain during your turn, draw an extra card at the end of your turn.
So she's going to be acquiring quite a bit of villains. And as you'll see, we have this on our Lazy Susan. We actually play this in our game room on this, and a lot of people have asked about it and just made some comments about it in some of the pictures. So we figured we'd show you how it plays in a 2-player game with us being able to flip the lineup back and forth around. If anyone is curious, we actually bought this at Sam's Club for, I think, $18 or something like that. But it's an 18-inch in diameter. It's got a little bit of an indention, and as you see, it fits kind of perfectly. So, since I am the Flash, I will go first. So we start off with 10 generic cards in our deck. Inside our deck is 7 punches, which will give us +1 power, and 3 vulnerabilities, which don't do anything but slow us down. So what we're going to do is just walk through how to play the game. We'll let you enjoy our banter back and forth, and when Mrs. Tox destroys me, everyone can laugh. So for my starting hand, I actually have 2 vulnerability that don't give me anything, and 3 punches, so I have 3 power. And again, the bottom right corner is how much each card costs to acquire. So I'm going to go ahead and acquire Super Speed, because that is the greatest starting card I could think of to get right now. Now, unlike other deck building games, this does not replenish until the end of my turn. So I don't just get to flip something over, and if I had more power, get really lucky and get to draw something there. But that's going to be the end of my turn, so I take my 5 cards, I put that into my discard pile along with Super Speed, and then I flip it around to Mrs. Tox, and she can go ahead and flip over a new card into the lineup, which is the Fastest Man Alive, which is Flash's card. And by the way, at the end of my turn, I draw 5 more cards, so I have 5 cards in my hand.
I have 3 punches and 2 vulnerability.
Hey, that looks familiar.
It does look familiar. I am actually going to take a kick.
Okay. Okay, I have, for my second turn, the 4 punch and 1 vulnerability. So still not enough to get either of the locations and not enough to get the Fastest Man Alive. So with my 4, I think I will go ahead and get a Suicide Squad. And Suicide Squad is interesting because it's a villain and it has a star in its victory point counter. It says if you've already played 2 other Suicide Squad cards this turn, then each foe discards his hand. So I'm going to want to get more Suicide Squads. But in addition, it says at the end of the game, this card is worth 1 victory point for each Suicide Squad card in your deck. So the more of them to have, the better it's going to be. That'll be the end of my turn, and because I have no more cards in my deck, I will shuffle my remaining cards in my discard pile, and that will become my new 5 cards. Now, one thing you do need to know, the Flash's power of the first time a card tells you to draw 1 or more cards doesn't mean when you draw your 5 cards at the end of the turn. It's only when a card specifically tells you to draw more cards.
I have 4 punches and 1 vulnerability. And I, once again, I'm going to take a kick.
Okay, lots of kicks and cleavage over at Wonder Woman's area. Alright, let's see what we can do on this turn. And mind you, you notice how we're moving this slowly. Because there are so many cards in this, I highly suggest not whipping your Lazy Susan around. Unless you want to be that guy or that girl. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 punches and a suicide squad. Now, it's the only suicide squad I have, so it doesn't do anything extra. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total power, and I am going to get the fastest man alive for 5. So that'll leave me with 1 power. Can't do anything with it, so everything else will go to my discard pile. Green Lantern's Power Rings. There you go.
Alright, 4 punch, 1 vulnerability. I am going to take another kick.
Another kick. Wow. Kick, 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 kick. This is usually where Wonder Woman plans on kicking me in the head. Alright. So, not very good hand here for the Flash because I have 3 vulnerabilities. But I do have Super Speed, which says to draw a card. And because that is the first time that a card is telling me to draw a card, I get to draw another card. So now I have 3 punches. So with my 3, I think I will actually go ahead and get High Tech Hero. Because High Tech Hero says if you play or have played a superpower or equipment this turn, you get +3 power. So that's going to go with Super Speed pretty nicely. So all that will go to my discard pile, and I will shuffle up my deck. Wow, another location, Arkham Asylum. It's pretty amazing. There's not that many locations in the game, and we have apparently cheated and stacked the deck in our favor.
Okay, I have 2 kicks and 2 punches and 1 vulnerability. So I have 2, 4, 5, 6, and I think I'm actually going to take Arkham Asylum.
Mm-hmm. And why would you take Arkham Asylum?
It says when you play this in front of you, when you play your first villain on each turn, you can draw a card.
That seems to go well with Wonder Woman and her ability of getting villains. Or gaining something when she gets villains. Alright. So we get Clayface. Clayface is fun. He lets you copy another card played. I have a very vanilla hand from the Flash. I have 4 punches and 1 vulnerability, so I have 4 power. So I think I will go ahead and capture Clayface.
You're taking all my villains.
I'm taking all your villains. I think I only took 2 of all 2 that came out. Green Arrow is now on the table.
Alright. I have 2, 3, 4, 5 power and 1 vulnerability. So I think I'm going to take the Fortress of Solitude.
Alright.
It says when you play your first superpower on each of your turns, draw a card.
Okay, and with all the kicks that you have, that seems pretty good.
I thought so.
Alright. Let's see what we get. Solomon Grundy. Solomon Grundy. I'm sorry. Alright. We are going to play Super Speed. So I will draw a card. And because I am the Flash, I will draw 1 more card. And then we will play the Fastest Man Alive. So I will draw 2 more cards. Now I don't do the Flash's ability again. It's only on that very first card that tells you to draw a card that you get that. I will then play High Tech Hero, which says if I have played a superpower or equipment this turn, I get +3 power. So since Super Speed is a superpower, I get +3 power for that. So 3, 4, 5, 6 with my punches, 7, 8 with my Suicide Squad, and 2 vulnerabilities doesn't give me anything, but with my 8, I can capture Ra's al Ghul. So Ra's al Ghul goes to my discard pile, everything else goes to my discard pile, and at the end of my turn, the row or the lineup and the villain is replenished. So we get a brand new villain. And we get Sinestro. Why don't you read what Sinestro's first appearance attack is? Whenever a new supervillain comes out face up, they will perform what's called a first appearance attack, and they will attack everybody in the game.
Okay, so his first appearance attack says each player reveals his hand and discards a card for each hero he revealed this way.
Okay, so now is a time where if you have a defense card in your hand, for instance, super speed, you could do that. And I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to reveal my super speed, which says defense. You may discard this card to avoid an attack. If I do, I get to draw 2 cards. Now, very uniquely, this does not combine with the Flash's superpower because it specifically says during each of your turns. So this is actually on Mrs. Tox's turn. So I will just draw my 2 cards for that.
And I have no heroes.
And you have no heroes at all, so you're good and safe. Now Sinestro costs 10 to defeat, so we're going to have to build up some pretty good amount of power here. And he is worth 5 victory points, so he's worth a little bit more victory points.
Okay, I'm going to play the Arkham Asylum.
Okay, and that stays out in front of you because it's a location.
And then I have 2 kicks, so it's 2, 4, 5 power, and 1 vulnerability.
Okay.
So I will take Green Arrow since I am 1 shy of my villain.
Okay. Thought you would take the Batcave just to have every darn location in the game going over there sooner or later. One interesting thing, the locations, there are very few of them in the game. They're very powerful, and there's no way to get rid of them. They're really, once they're in play, and there's not really a card that will get rid of it. Alright, so the Flash didn't do so well with his super speed ability, avoiding Sinestro's attack. He has 3 vulnerabilities, all 3 of them, so those will be out of the way. He does have 2 punches for 2 power, and Clayface, which allows me to copy a card. And since I don't feel like copying a vulnerability, I'll copy my punch, so I have 3 total power. And I am going to get Nth Metal, the card that just came out. Nth Metal is an equipment card, it's gray. It gives me +1 power, but it also says look at the top card of your deck and you may destroy it. So that could be fairly helpful, as well as combining with my high-tech hero that I got earlier. All you, my love. Mera. Aquaman's chick.
Alright, so I have 4 punches, so it's 4 power and 1 vulnerability.
Okay. Solomon Grundy is taunting you.
It is. I'm always 1 shy. I'm going to actually take Mera.
Alright. And the power rings. So lots of power rings out. Okay. Alright. The Flash will become the fastest man alive and draw not 2, but 3 cards, since he uses his on-card ability. We will, let's see. Well, that's interesting. Alright, so I'm not going to be able to do anything with that, so I'll play High-Tech Hero, and since I haven't played a superpower or equipment, it's 1 power, 2 power, 3 power, 4 power, 5 power, 6, 7 power with my Suicide Squad, 8, 9, 10 with Ra's al Ghul. So with my 10 power, I'll go ahead and defeat Sinestro. So I'll get Sinestro in my discard pile. And Ra's al Ghul says, at the end of my turn, put this card on the bottom of its owner's deck before drawing a new hand. So instead of going on my discard pile, he will go on the bottom of my deck, which consists of 1 card right now, which fits very well with the Lazarus Pit, if you know the history of Ra's al Ghul. So I'll draw my 2 that I can, I'll shuffle and draw my remaining 3, and we'll get a new villain.
Doomsday.
Why is Doomsday in there?
I think that's...
Alright, apparently we have done something terribly wrong there, so we'll just shuffle Doomsday into the middle of that, and we'll take another random supervillain and put a random supervillain on the bottom of the stack to replace that.
Alright, so we get Brainiac.
This is what happens when you let your friends put your game away.
Alright, so the first appearance of Brainiac, he attacks, and each player chooses 2 cards from his hand and puts them on the table face down. We shuffle all the chosen cards, and then we deal the 2 back to each player at random.
Okay, I will not be choosing Ra's al Ghul for this. Alright, my 2, your 2. Brainiac costs 11 to beat. And this is usually where people try to dump all of their weaknesses or their vulnerabilities. 1 for you, 1 for me. 2 for you, 1, 2 for me.
Alright, so I have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 power.
Wow.
So I'm actually going to take Solomon Grundy for
Hey,
6.
you can finally get Solomon Grundy.
Yep.
And you have 2 left over with nothing
Which
to
I
buy.
can't do anything with. And
Alright.
since I did get a villain, I get to draw an extra card on my next turn.
That is correct. And look, another villain, Two-Face. Alright, I have a vulnerability that I believe I picked up because of Brainiac's ability. I have 3 punches. Did you hear that evil laugh? That was kind of sinister. I've got 3 punches for 3 power, and then Ra's al Ghul, of course, for another 3 power. So I have 6 total power. And I think I am actually going to get... I think I'm going to get the Batcave. So we'll put that in my discard pile. That'll cost me 5, and then everything will go into my discard pile except Ra's al Ghul, who will go on the bottom of my deck. Another Nth Metal.
Alright, I'm playing Fortress of Solitude.
Of course you are, because you're the location queen.
So far. And then I'm going to play a superpower, which is a kick. So my location lets me draw a card.
Okay.
So I have 2 power, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I am going to take Two-Face for 2.
Mm-hmm.
And that leaves me 4. And I am going to take a power ring
Okay.
for 3. And I get to draw an extra card since I got a villain.
That is correct. Another Suicide Squad. And Super Strength. Alright, let's see what we can do here. We're going to look at Nth Metal. Nth Metal says +1 power. You can look at the top card of your deck and destroy it. And I will destroy it. It's a vulnerability. So that'll be removed from the game. Then we'll go ahead and Clayface that. So I get another +1 power and look at the top card of my deck. It's a punch. I will go ahead and destroy it as well. Then we will play Super Speed and draw not 1 but 2 cards because I'm the Flash and I'm that cool. We will then go ahead and play Sinestro. Reveal the top card of the main deck. If it's a hero, I get +3 power and then destroy it. It is superpower, X-ray vision, so it goes back on top. Oh, otherwise put it into your hand. I'm sorry, it goes into my hand. So I get X-ray vision in my hand. So I have a total of 2 power. I will then play the X-ray vision. It says each foe reveals the top card of his deck. You may play one of the non-location cards revealed this way this turn, then return it to the top of the owner's deck. And it is a punch, so I get +1 power. So I have 3 power. 4 power with a punch, 5, 6 with Suicide Squad. So I think I will get another Suicide Squad. And my last card is Vulnerability, and I'll be done.
Not sure how that weakness got in
Not
there.
sure how that weakness got in there either. Apparently, leaving your friends putting the game away is not a good idea.
Alright, I'm going to play a superpower, which is a kick.
Mm-hmm.
And because of my Fortress of Solitude, I get to draw a card. Play another kick. Then Green Arrow, so I have 2, 4, 6 power. Play Mara. And my discard pile is not empty, so she's 2 power. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11.
On the button. Defeating Brainiac.
Brainiac.
Very good. All right.
And since I got a villain, I get to draw a...
That's right. So Wonder Woman's ability works whether you get a villain from the lineup or a supervillain from the supervillain stack. Let's see who we get. Captain Cold. His first appearance attack says each player flips his superhero face down until this villain is defeated. I got no defense against that, so I'm going to flip it over. Yeah, I don't think you bought a defense
I
card at all.
haven't, huh?
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and play the fastest man alive and draw 2 cards. Since I don't have a deck, I will go ahead and shuffle my cards and draw 2. instead of 3, because Captain Cold's so dumb, slowing down Flash. So we'll draw 2. Then we will go ahead and play High Tech Hero for 1 power, 2, 3 power with the punches, plus 3 more for Ra's al Ghul, so we'll have 6. And I think I like the idea of getting some heroes back, so I'll get the Bat Signal for 5. My other 2 cards are vulnerabilities, so I won't use them. Everything will go away. Ra's, of course, will go on the bottom of my deck, and then I'll draw 5. Ooh, the cape and the cowl.
Alright, I'm going to play a kick, and because it's a superpower, I get to draw a card. And then I'm going to play Solomon Grundy, because he's a villain. My Arkham Asylum lets me draw a card.
Solomon Grundy.
So I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Wow.
And 2 vulnerabilities. So we
That
are
quickly,
going to-
Captain Cold is in the game and out of the game. All right, bye-bye, Captain Cold.
So we can flip over our
We
heroes
can flip
now.
over our heroes now, yeah.
And because I got a villain, I get to draw 6 cards.
Actually, I don't think that happens because your hero
Oh, my hero
down
was face
when it
down.
happened.
You are right.
Good call. Alrighty. Starting to make a comeback. I took over the first 2 villains, and you just
Yeah.
took over the next 2 super villains. That's pretty good. Let's see if we can fix that. Let's play the Bat Cave. That'll stay in front of us. When you play your first equipment on each of your turns, draw a card. Alright, and then we will go ahead and play X-Ray Vision. Each foe reveals the top card of his deck. You may play one of the non-location cards revealed this way this turn, then return it to the top of the owner's deck.
What am I supposed to do?
X-Ray Vision. Bingo. Kick. So I get 2 power. Then we'll go ahead and do a Suicide Squad for 2 more. Then we'll do Clayface the Suicide Squad for 2 more, so that's 6. And oh, you know what we didn't do? We didn't flip over the villain. We totally forgot that. Hang on. All right, let's go back here. What do we got? The Anti-Monitor. Each player reveals his hand and chooses a card with cost 1 or greater and adds that card to the lineup. Okay, well, that's fair. We'll go ahead and do that then. I'll go ahead. I'll put my Suicide Squad in the lineup.
I am putting the power ring.
Okay, alright, so these are in the lineup. An interesting thing about this is the lineup only gets refilled if there's less than 5 cards in it. So until we get less than 5, even if we acquire these, we're not going to replace them. So that came out of my hand, so I'll go ahead and play my Batcave again. We'll play the X-Ray Vision, which we know is a kick, so that'll give me 2 power. I'll go ahead and Clayface the X-Ray Vision, which again we know is a kick, so it's 2 more power, so that's 4. And then 5. And with my 5, I'm going to get my Suicide Squad back. Thank you, Anti-Monitor.
Okay. I am going to play Two-Face. And it says choose odd or even, the revealed top card of your, and then I reveal the top card of my deck.
Well, you know what it is.
And it is, oh, did I say odd?
You didn't say odd, but you knew it was a kick,
Odd.
so yeah.
Okay, and so I get to draw it. And then I'm going to play Brainiac.
Whoa.
It says each foe reveals a random card from his hand, and I get to play each revealed non-location.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and super speed that and defend against it. You may discard this card to avoid attack, and if you do, draw 2 cards.
Alright.
Because I'm the Flash.
Okay, so I have 1 power. Oh, wait a minute. And since I played this, I should be able to draw a card because of my first villain played.
That is correct.
Okay, and then I'm going to play a kick, and because it's my first superpower, I get to draw another card. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8. Not enough to defeat the Anti-Monitor, which costs 12. That's still pretty good, because you get super strength. Or
Yeah, I'm going to take super strength.
super
for
strength
7.
is plus 5 power. Alright. Let's see what we got cooking here. Alright, let's start off with Sinestro. Reveal the top card of the main deck. If it's a hero, I get plus 3 power and then destroy it. Otherwise, put it in my hand. It is not a hero, it is a villain, the Penguin. So I will go ahead and take it in my hand. we'll go ahead and play the Penguin. Draw 2 cards, then choose and discard 2 cards. But since it's the first card that's telling me to draw cards, I will draw 3. So I'll get Roz, who of course is at the bottom of my deck. And then I'll shuffle up the remainder of my discard pile here. And get 2 more cards. And then I have to discard 2 cards from my hand, although they do not need to be the 2 that I just drew or 2 of the 3 I just drew. I will discard 2 vulnerabilities from my hand. We will then go ahead and do Nth Metal and get +1 power. Look at the top card of my deck. It is X-Ray Vision, and I will not destroy it. I technically don't have to announce what it is, but just for the fun, I will go ahead and do that. But I will go ahead and play Super Speed and draw a card. Look, it's X-Ray Vision. It's amazing. It's like I almost knew what that was. Then we'll go ahead and play X-Ray Vision. So you have to show me the top card of your deck. And it is Solomon Grundy. When you buy or gain this villain, you may put him on top of your deck, +3 power. So I get +3 power. So I have 4 power now. 5, 6, 7, 8 with the Suicide Squad. 9, 10, 11 with Ra's al Ghul.
Just a bit shy.
1 shy of the Anti-Monitor. And I didn't play... Oh no, I did play equipment this turn. I played equipment from the Batcave, so I get to draw a card. I forgot about that. And look at that! High-Tech Hero. 11 plus 3, so I have 14. Just enough to get the Anti-Monitor. And then I have 2 left over, but there's nothing to buy for 2. So everything else will go to the bottom of my discard pile, and then Roz will go to the bottom of my deck.
And the next villain is the Joker.
Uh-oh.
First appearance, attack. Each player puts a card from his hand into the discard pile of the player on his left.
Well, I don't have anything to defend against that.
If the card you received has a cost of 1 or greater, put a weakness on top of your deck. I'm
going to give you a vulnerability.
I will give you a vulnerability.
Hey, I'll just keep my vulnerability and you can keep yours. How about that? All right.
Oh, that totally messes up my game plan here.
The Joker's not too bad in a 2-player game. He's really crazy in a 4 or 5-player game, though.
So I'm going to play Mara, but because now I have that vulnerability, I only get 2 power.
Yeah.
Mara
gives you +4 power if your discard pile is empty.
I'm going to play a superpower. It's my first superpower, so I get to draw a card because of my location. Then I'm going to play Solomon Grundy.
And you get to draw a card.
I get to draw a card because of my location.
Yeah.
And then... Okay, so then I'm going to play Captain Cold.
Okay.
I get +2 and an additional +1 for each foe with a hero in his discard pile, which I think you have a hero in your discard pile?
I think I have just 1. That's right, yeah.
Okay, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh boy.
11, 12.
12.
So I will defeat the Joker.
All right. Pretty even game so far, I think.
I'll go for 10. And with my last 2, I can't do anything.
All right.
But now that I have Wonder Woman's power back, I get to draw 6 cards.
This is true. All right, let's go ahead and see who our next supervillain is. Lex Luthor. Each player gains a weakness for each villain in the lineup. Well, I am perfectly fine with that.
I'm fine with that,
because
too.
there is nothing but equipment in the lineup, so that's pretty good. So we avoided a pretty good attack there. All right, we'll go ahead and play the Fastest Man Alive, and we'll draw 3 cards, 2 for the Fastest Man and 1 for the Flash. Then I will go ahead and, let's see, I will play the Bat Signal. Put a hero from your discard pile into your hand, so I'll get the 1 hero that I had, which is the High-Tech Hero Cyborg. We'll go ahead and play that, and if I've played a superpower or equipment, which is what the Bat Signal is, then I'll get +3 power, so that gives me 4 power. I'll go ahead and Clayface High-Tech Hero, so I get 3, 6, 7 power, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 with Suicide Squad. So I will go ahead and defeat Lex Luthor for 10, and with my remaining 2, I will do nothing. That will all go into my discard pile. Oh, wait. I have 2 left. I did not draw a card from the Batcave for my first equipment with the Bat Signal. So I could draw 1 more card, which is Ra's al Ghul, which would give me 3. So that would give me a total of 5. So I would be able to get another Bat Signal if I wanted, and I think I will. So I will get the Bat Signal. And then since Ra's is in my hand, he goes to the bottom of my deck, goes into my hand, and then I shuffle up again. Gotta remember the locations. Even though there's not many of them, they are very, very powerful.
Alright, Lasso of Truth came out, and our
More
last
equipment.
villain is
Atrocitus.
Atrocitus. I always mispronounce that.
This one is a fun one.
Okay, so first appearance, each player puts a random card from his hand under his superhero. When this villain is defeated, put each of those cards on top of its owner's deck.
I don't have a way of stopping that,
I don't
so you haven't bought a single defense card the whole game. I haven't seen that many, actually. I mean, the Cape Macal's been out there for a little while, but we haven't done
Alright,
anything.
here's my random card.
Alright, there's my random card underneath
Super
my...
strength.
Sure you are.
And then I'm gonna, because of my location, I'm going to draw a card. And then I'm going to play Brainiac. And I get to draw a card because of my location.
What is his power again?
Each foe reveals a random card from his hand, and I get to play each revealed non-location.
Wow, this is going to be rather good for you. You have a 50% chance of greatness and a 50% chance of crud. Which one would you like to reveal?
Let's do this one. It's a punch.
Ah, right, 50% chance of non-greatness.
Okay, so I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
And that would be the end of the game, as I believe you'll be defeating Atrocitus.
Yep.
Alright, so that is the end of the game, and I think this is actually going to be pretty even. So we get the cards back, and at the end of the game, we're now going to count up all of the victory points in our deck, from the cards we had in play and the cards that were in our discard pile and remaining in our deck. And the person with the highest victory points wins. If there is a tie, it's the person who's defeated the most supervillains. So we'll be right back in a second after this short interlude to tell you who won. Alright, so we are back and we've counted up our decks, and I believe I had 4 of the super villains and you had 4 of the super villains as well. No, you had 4. Two-Face.
Yeah, I had 4. Yeah,
So
you're right.
I had defeated Ra's al Ghul, Lex Luthor, the Anti-Monitor, and Sinestro. You meanwhile defeated Captain Cold, some schmo named the Joker, Atrocitus, and Brainiac. And the final tallies were Mrs. Tox and Wonder Woman with
32.
and the Flash and Tox with 34. That was actually an extremely close game. Very even. It was, one person defeats a supervillain, the other person defeats a supervillain. Didn't see a lot of the weakness cards come into play. In fact, we didn't really have, I don't think either of us had any weaknesses. But they do play in, especially in, you can imagine in a larger player game, it comes into play. But that is the DC deck building game. That is the Flash trouncing Wonder Woman. But in addition to that, you of course have a lot of other heroes to choose from. You have Batman, you have Green Lantern, Aquaman, Superman, Cyborg, John, Martian Manhunter. There's just quite a bit to choose from. Martian Manhunter is a promo card. He doesn't come with the base set, but you could get him through pre-orders or I'm sure on different sites online if you look around. But that gives you a good idea of all the different equipment, superpowers, villains, locations, and things that you can play with. We hope you liked this playthrough. If you do, feel free to let us know. You can leave your comments here on the YouTube channel. You can, of course, find us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Google Plus by searching Crits Happen. And, of course, at our homepage at critshappen.com. But until we see you next time, we hope you enjoyed this critical playthrough. We hope you enjoy your time playing the DC deck building game from Cryptozoic. Keep rolling those dice, and we hope they're all crits.